Okay, we are live. I don't know if it's working, but oh well. Okay, so we have this save button right here. I think it makes sense to put it down at the bottom. So what we need to do is we need to hide that save button. So let's go ahead and hide the whole thing. So the save deck border, we're going to do. Huh, why don't I see it? Let's make it a variable. There you are. Save deck border. Hey. This is my first time streaming, so I have no idea if my mic is working either. All right, so. Oh, nice. Yay. Okay, don't mind me if I'm like nervous and stuff. So I'm just doing the main menu and then kind of like introducing people to the new deck building system. So this is kind of like the intro that will play it just once. So when I press next, it will kind of give you details of what the master deck will look like. And yeah, next doesn't do anything because I'm working on that part now. But yeah, kind of like explaining what the master deck is and what you can do with it and such. Does it look good? Oh, night night. Yay! People like my stuff. Call master deck. Master deck unclicked. Okay. So that would be that. And here. Before I add it, I would just bind event on master deck. Next clicked. Let's create a dispatcher actually. We need to show battle deck at this point. No, not build it. Show it. All right. What do you want to do here? So now when the master deck is done and we press next, it's going to ask to show the battle deck. So that would be the battle deck. So let's go back to this collection here. And then under show battle deck, we're going to now create a widget first, and then we will just say show battle deck. There we go. And same thing like the master deck, we're gonna just add that to the overlay. But before, well, actually, no, we can just add it now, and then we will keep moving things around. Same thing that we did for the main tutorial. We just need to get the reference, the master tutorial widget reference, which is right here. And in our battle deck, we're going to go ahead and hide it first. But we want to make sure it's valid. If any case this widget just disappears out of nowhere, we want to make sure that, excuse me, this doesn't fail. So if it is valid, then we're going to first hide it. So we're going to set visibility. It's not necessary, it's a little overkill, but it is what it is. We're going to set it hidden because we're going to get rid of it anyways. Usually if you want to show it again, you would just go ahead and set it to collapsed. But because we're going to get rid of this, we're going to go ahead and do hidden. And this master reference, we're going to go ahead and remove from parent. Actually, we can just, yeah, we'll do remove from parent. And then followed by this tutorial canvas, we're going to go ahead and clear all the children. And we're going to take the master tile view, so which is all holding all the master cards. We don't want the master card showing anymore. We're going to go ahead and clear all the lists. Oh, clear all the list items. There we go. And then in our master deck, where the master deck size box and the card holder, we're setting the render opacity to 1. Cards holder is the main card holder, so we can just leave it there. But the master deck, we can go ahead and hide it. So under show battle deck, we can go ahead and hide it. We can actually see this in action and then start fixing things as we need to. So what's going to happen is if I go press play, go to decks, it's going to tell you welcome to the deck. And then when you press next, it's going to explain to you what this master deck is. And then it's going to build a master deck. This is live build. So that means these are basically your cards that you're going to play with. This is not like an image or anything like that. Then when you press next, then it right now hid the cards. So it got rid of the cards, but it did not hide the master deck. And that new message should have showed up, but it didn't. So let's go and take a look at that. So we did clear all the items. Oh, okay, so the master deck render opacity, we didn't set this to 0, which is cool. And okay, so here in the beginning of the master deck, in the beginning of the intro deck, we're setting the battle deck size box to render opacity 0. So now in the battle deck here, we would want to do render opacity to 1, so it starts showing the battle deck box. And also, I don't see why this widget, the show battle, this widget didn't pop up on the screen. So we need to figure that out. So we do have all of this set up properly. So the animations fade in. Okay, everything shows up at once, but we're going to figure that out in just a moment. Ooh, actually, everything doesn't show up at once. Okay. So I may just have to rebuild this animation for it, but still that doesn't explain why the cards didn't show up. So let's take a look at that. Decks, next, master collection, go through all of it. And then when I press next, okay, so the battle deck is now showing, but the message here, it's not visible. So we just need to figure out why it's not visible. And this should be not allowed to be clicked on. So let's find out. If you're a new viewer in this chat, please feel free to say hi. It's my first ever stream, so I'm a little nervous, so don't mind me at all. Okay, we are clearing. Oh, okay, not very smart. So I forgot to connect the content to the written value. Obviously, this is what we need to do to show it. So now if we go to decks and then go ahead here, and now if I press next, as soon as it shows up, well, that took a minute, but I guess people for the first time when they read it, this is perfectly fine because all of this will only show the one time. When I press next, you can see that tutorial part of it is now up. We will go and fix we need to fix the next button. We need to put it at the bottom, and then also we need to fix the animation. That's pretty easy. First of all, let's get out of this animation so we can see everything. We need the next button, so I can just go ahead and search for button, and there is one button. Which button are we hiding? Button 130. So this is a good reason why you should like rename all of your slots and names. So this would be like next button underscore SB for size box, and then the button itself would be next underscore BTN. So there you go. So now what I can do is I can take this horizontal box. We just need to find out where it starts and ends. So let's go ahead and collapse all of this. Okay, so we see this is the vertical box for this message. So we just want this next button to be right after the final message. So we can just move it up like that. The other message went inside of it, so we want to now pull it out really quickly. Not this one, this box. So we can just go ahead and then put it right below. There you go. So now this vertical box is separate and this horizontal box. So these are all individual messages that will show up one after another. All right. So let's go ahead and fix the animation here. So we can actually do it one by one. We don't need to reuse any of this. So let's go ahead, select all of it, delete it. Let's start it one by one here. We're going to do the same fade in animation. So we want this battle deck to show up first. So I'm going to go ahead and select this size box. Yeah, should we do the border? No, size box is fine. And this is the main header. So I'm going to click on the size box, and we're going to set up a render opacity. This is going to be very straightforward. So we're going to set this to 0, and about half a second, we're going to make this to 1. So it would just kind of like fade in. Now we need to do it one by one for the rest of it. So we're going to select the deck rules, and then we're going to go ahead and then add it here. This is the text. We can actually rename this text F2 to this is the deck rules. I kind of made the name same as the text in it, so I know exactly what is what. So right here, I know that this is the deck rules needs to be the next one. So I'm going to go ahead and set the render opacity here to 0. We need this to start at 0, and then obviously at this point, I want this to be at 0 as well. And then half a second later, I need this to be at 1. So it will show up one after another. So I'm going to do the exact same thing for deck rules and must contain, all of that. So we can actually do deck rules and must contain together. So I can just go ahead and click on add. Let's do this deck rules first. Let's name that deck rules as deck rules. And then this must contain size box is already named, so we can just leave it as it is. So we can just drop that down below. Let's move this size box up top and then this one right after. I can just go ahead and copy this render opacity and then I can just paste it and it will just apply the same thing here, right? So only thing I need to do is select these two render opacities and make sure that they are set to 0. Actually, I need to move the skew here and then set this to 0 and to 0. So now what I want to do is I want to make sure at this point the deck rules is still at 0 and then actually a quarter of a second, because this is two different boxes that we want to bring out. So a quarter of a second later, we want the deck rules, and then we want to make sure this is at 0 as well. And then we can just make this into 1. Now this is all redundant here because this is 0 and this is 0. So we can just basically go ahead and delete this. We don't need this. We will get rid of this. Oh, oops, don't do that. All right, so there you go. So how this would do is if I press play, you'll see the top one come, then the bottom two will come right after. And then now we need to do this one. So let's name it to clicking on a card. I'll name it clicking underscore text. All right, so now we can go ahead and add in clicking text. Let's move this one step below. Okay, there you go. I'm going to copy this render opacity and then drop it in there. We want to make sure that this render opacity is at 0 for the clicking, and then just half a second later, 1. Okay. So that should play out well. 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Perfect. Now we just need to do the other two. This one's actually not centered, so let's go and fix that as well while we're at it. If you don't see any of this because you have the animation, like you can see this blue selected fade in that tells you that you have the animation selected, you can just click outside the box and then that will actually show you what's without the animation set up. So we want to make sure that not this vertical box, this horizontal box is centered. So let's go ahead and center it just like that. I also have a 35 padding on top. Let's make that 20. So it's a little bit more consistent here as well. Let's make this 20. And let's make this 20. Actually, that 35 is not that bad for this too. Okay, excellent. So we can actually... This horizontal box needs to come after. So we're going to go ahead and then clear underscore text. We're just going to name that as clear text and then go into fade in and then add that clear text as another item in the list. So now we get to move it. Can I move it down here? Oh, I don't know why it doesn't let me move like that. Okay. Anyways, so we can just copy this render opacity, drop it in here. We're going to make sure that this is at 0 here. And then make our way half a second and then 1. So that means these two are redundant zeros, so we don't need that. As long as this is 0, it's going to be, the render opacity is going to be 0 all the way through. All right, excellent. Compile, and let's save this. And after that, we want to now show to remove, I think. Let's click out of this. Okay, there you go. So that entire clear text box will show, and then we're going to use this use these counters. So I'm going to go ahead and rename this to counters underscore text, and then let's go ahead and add that in. Oop. Perfect. Let's bring it to the bottom so we can keep ours so clean here. Copy this and then paste it down below. And again, we're going to move our thing to the end and then set this to 0. That will make this one redundant, so we can go ahead and delete that. Half a second later, we can make it 1. All right. I know it's a lot in there, but it's just line by line, you're setting the render opacity so it shows up one after another. That's what we're doing here so far. Compile. All right. And last but not least is this last box over here. This last box can actually come right after the counters, like almost immediately. So let's go ahead and name this as our counters underscore icons. And then let's add in an animation. Oh, sorry, not an animation. Let's add it into our fade in animation that we already have going. All right, there you go. Counter icons. I can do this. That's really odd. Anyways, we're going to do the render opacity for this, 0. It's going to go all the way down here, 0. It's going to be quarter of a second, right? Something like that. Let me see. This one's a little further up. So let's go ahead and move this up, actually. Okay. All right. And a quarter of a second later, we need this to be at 1. So that means this needs to be at 0. That means this can be deleted. So how this whole thing would work is if we were to now go ahead and press play, you'll see one by one, everything starts showing up. Let me click out of this. Okay, is there a reason why this green are always green? Huh. Let's take a look at it. That green is always green because something is keeping the opacity. Interesting. Okay. So these counter icons, everything has a green box around it. Not sure exactly why. I mean, I know that's the outline that I've entered, but it should have hidden the entire horizontal box. That's odd. Yeah, I can just hide it and it disappears. And if I go ahead and say render opacity here to 0, see, that box is still showing up. Very interesting. Just because I hid all the icons doesn't mean this outline. Okay. That is very weird. Let's see what else can we do to it. Let's go to a fade in and the counter icons. One of the easiest way to do is a transform. We can set the transform here, so just like this, and set the transform to this for the scale. We're going to set this to 0, 0, right? 0, 0. Again, this is a very cheap, easy trick to do. Set this to 0, 0 as well, so it fills in everything. And then this quarter of the way in, or yeah, something like this. Let's just set our scale to 1 to 1. I don't know if it's going to look good. Let's see. Okay, it kind of did one of those pop-ins. That's pretty cool. So if we were to go in game decks, when I press next, it's going to show the instructions and all of your cards. And then when I press next, now it shows you the battle deck. Now what we can do is add some cards to the battle deck. So when the player is reading these instructions, they also get to see what's in the battle deck. So, and then again, obviously next doesn't do anything because we haven't built it. So let's go ahead and first move this entire instructions to the left by like 30 points or something like that. So we can just go ahead, select the size box. This is a size box? Yeah, this is a size box. And we're going to go ahead to our slot. And for the padding, for the left padding, we're going to make it like 50. Oh no, actually, we can make the left padding 0, and it needs to be the right padding to like 50. Or maybe 60. Let's see. Okay. Do something. All right, it's taking a second. I pressed play way too quickly. I didn't press compile. So it's kind of like trying to compile in the background and save and play. It's trying to do three things at the same time, and it's kind of like confused. All right, there you go. Okay, so welcome to the deck. Press next. Is that your master collection? Kind of gives you a little quick view of the card, and then you can press next. Maybe that 3 seconds is a little bit too much. When you press next, you'll see. Okay, so this is actually sitting a little bit more in the center. We're happy with this. We're not going to touch it. Okay, so this 3 seconds, we're going to make it like 2 seconds. That's a good delay. Same thing here. Instead of 3 seconds, we will make it into 2 seconds. All right. And now what we need to do is we can go into our deck collection. And then let's go to, yeah, right here, we're going to create a new function, right? So this function is going to be like, actually, let's not do a function. Let's create an event so we can use a timer delay, just like this. So we're going to create a custom event and then name this tutorial underscore battle deck. And then we're going to do a quick delay. So just for dramatic purposes is what this delay, and that's why we want to use a custom event, because you can't use delay events inside of a function, as far as I understand. So we're going to do like a 2-second delay, just like this. And then we're going to get our deck component. And then we're going to get our master deck collection. And then we're going to do a for each loop. And we're going to call in the deck component again. We can just copy and paste it. And then we're going to call in the function add to battle deck. And we can go ahead and take this, break it, our card instance. And the card instance should have the persistent ID. And once it's completed, I'm going to call in the build battle deck. So what this effectively does is just refreshes the battle decks. So we're going to go here, and then we're going to call in that function, tutorial battle decks. Cool. So if I did that correctly, let's see. I'm going to go inside, go to next. This will show up, and the next button should show in about 2 seconds. There you go. And then here, you should see the cards just popped up, just like this. It may look a little weird, so maybe we would populate the battle deck first and then show them the actual cards. One more thing is we need to show the counters as well. I left the counters hidden, so we can just go to our show battle deck. Actually, the intro, you'll see the card counter size box. We can just go to our battle deck here, and then we can enable the opacity on this one. I mean, sorry, yeah, render opacity on this one. So what this will do is it's going to show us how many cards are in there and what's in there and stuff. Let's move this to the front because we want to build the deck first, right? So we want to hide all of this, remove all the parent stuff. So all the normal stuff that we're doing. And yeah. If you're new to this stream, this is my first ever stream, so feel free to say hi. All right, so that should look a little bit better. So if I go to my decks now and then press next. All right, good information. So you can see these buttons are showing, and then immediately the card pops up, and you can see that the counters are working fine, actually. But I don't like the way how the card just pops up. So let's go ahead and do a quick timer on that one. Hello, one viewer who's actually watching my stream. Oh no, 0 viewers. I lost them. Okay. So instead of adding it directly to the battle deck, let's do something. This might be a little bit too overkill, but that is fine. Let's do it. Let's do it. So let's remove this building battle deck. And we want to now take all the persistent ID, and instead of adding it directly to the battle deck, we want to create an array of it. So let's go ahead and promote this to a variable. And then this would be tutorial underscore persistent underscore array. This is again just for the tutorial of the game itself. And we're going to go and make this into a array. And we're going to get this and we're going to clear it. Oh, wait, we should clear it before, just to make sure, just in case something goes wrong. We want to make sure that this array is completely clear. Oh, wait a minute. There is actually a better way to do this. Instead of building all of this like this, let's go ahead and delete. And we're going to create another custom event. And this custom event would be called add cards to battle deck. Hi, one viewer. Thank you very much for coming by the channel. You can always feel free to say hi. This is my first ever stream, so if I am stuttering or if I sound nervous, that's why. But thank you very much for, stopping by for a second. It's awesome of you. I wish it shows me the names of people who are actually watching. That would be cool, so I can say hi to you. But even if you put hi in the chat, then I can respond back to you. That would be cool. So we're going to create a timer event, so timer by event. In case you're wondering, what I am actually doing here is, this is actually my game that I'm building. It's called The Final Oath, and I'm building a new system for it. It's a deck building system. So I'm showing off the deck building through a tutorial. So this is what I'm working on tutorial. So what I have done so far is I've done a introduction page to the decks. And if I press next here, it's going to explain to you what the master collection is, and it's going to populate your master deck. I know there's only like 16 cards in here, but in the future, when you play the game, you'll have about 30 cards or so. And then when you press next, it's going to show you the battle deck, and it's going to populate some of the cards in here, and it's going to show you that these are the cards that you can take into the game. You're allowed to take 30 cards with you from your master deck. You can transfer them over. Oh, I lost them. I lost them. Okay, keep it going. All right, so we're going to go ahead and create, actually, no, we're going to go ahead and do a dispatch just to keep the lines. Yeah, let's go ahead and call add cards to battle deck and then set the time to like 0.5, something like that, and make it looping. And let's promote this timer to a variable. So that would be our tutorial. Let's make it tutorial underscore battle deck underscore timer. Okay. So every second, what we want to do is we want to grab one element from the master deck and we want to add it. So how that would work is, oh, okay. Steam is yelling at me saying that my bitrate is 5870. How do I don't know. Oh, okay. 13500. Apply. And here. Okie dokie. All right. So here what we're going to do is we're going to get master deck. No, we're going to get our deck component. And we're going to get the master deck, right? Master deck collection. And then we're going to get the first item in this array. So we're going to get a reference to first item. And we're going to call in add from the deck component, actually. We're going to call in add to battle deck. Let's see if this actually would work, because the idea is that every time an item gets removed from the master deck collection, it would actually be replaced with another one. Kind of like everything is kind of like queuing upwards. So you'll see what I mean. So if I go ahead and set this to persistent ID, and immediately after that, I can go ahead and this is more of a refresh, right? The building the battle deck is a refresh. So if I press play, decks, next, all right, and then 1, 2, we should see it populate one at a time. There we go. Oh, interesting. It populated all the actual these cards. Interesting. You know what we should do? We should probably get the last index. Let's see. What if we do the last index instead of the first index? And then do a deck. Maybe it will help. I don't know. We shall see. Next. Fingers crossed. Oh, okay. It's going in reverse, but I think it'll get stuck at a different... Oh. Oh, actually it worked. Oh, look at that. Well. But the timer doesn't really stop here. So we're going to go ahead and then say, okay, once we refresh, we're going to check to see if this is empty. Is empty. If it is empty, so let's do a Boolean here. We're going to get this timer, the tutorial timer that we created, and we're going to go ahead and clear and invalidate timer by handle. Oh. Hey, MG Gaming Studios, how's it going? It's my first ever stream, so a little bit nervous here, but thank you very much for saying hello. I hope you're doing well. Are you watching on the short stream, or are you watching it in the long form? Interesting. Okay, so all right, so this is gonna keep flashing. Long form. Oh, okay, perfect. So now you can see the entire screen. In case you're wondering what I'm doing is I actually have built a game called The Final Oath. It's a survivor type of game. I'm trying to add in my own little flavor to it by allowing deck building into it rather than you going into the game and you randomly get weapons. You actually get to build a deck of cards and you get to take it with you. So this is more of a tutorial for that. Kind of like, when players come in for the first time ever, I want to walk them through how the deck building works and what is each and every element of this deck building and such. So that's what you're actually seeing right now. Don't mind the flashing. I just have the timer going on in the background, so that's why it's flashing. So yeah, so this is just my cool little take on a survivor genre. Okay, now flashing is kind of a weird type of situation. Do you like it when the card shows up one by one? Or should I just pop all of it at once? Because I can just pop all of it at once, but if it looked a little weird, so that's why I left it as this. So if I can do the entire pop in once, I can just go ahead, do this, and do a for each loop. Break the instance and get the deck component and then add cards to battle deck. Again, this is just for the tutorial portion of the thing. You will only see this like once. loop video, and there you go, persistent deck. And at the end of this, we want to build. Okay, do you have plans for future characters? Have the cards appearing and have the cards appearing one by one? Give the viewer a more polished and professional look and feel. Okay, so having the cards appearing one by one, it's more polished. Okay, that is cool. Um, so because I was already here, yes, to answer your question, yes, I do have more heroes. So if I can show you, here, I have 4 different heroes that you start the game with. So this is what you start your game with. And each of the hero will come with their own starter deck. Now, I'm still thinking how I should manage this because what I want is, for example, um, Chris here, Chris Summoner, he's actually a Queen's Guard. So he comes with like medieval weapons like hammers and swords and bows and arrows. So what I want is the soldier hero, which is Lieutenant Maggie here, should be able to wield like, an SMG and also a bow and arrow at the same time. This is an auto-firing bullet hell type of game, right? So auto-firing, it's gonna be so cool to watch, like bows and also SMGs working together at the same time, or mix and match whatever you like, and you get to have 5 of them equipped at once. In the future, I am planning to release like DLCs with more additional heroes and stuff based on the feedback from the players. But like you said, I will make it so that the cards show up one at a time in the battle deck instead of just popping up. And in case you're wondering how the pop-up works, this is how it's going to look like. Next. So you should see something like this. It's like an instant pop, and then this is just a tutorial. You only see this ever once. Although these are your actual cards, you only see it once. Here, instead of the next button, I will put something like, I understand or something like that. And then once you click on it, then it's going to go ahead and just rebuild your entire battle decks. And then you get to start building your decks and starting the game with it. I should actually do that first really quickly. With that, go back to my show battle deck and rename this on master deck clicked. So, all right, on battle deck clicked. Okay. Instead of next, we're going to go ahead and rename that button. Should be at the bottom. There it is. This is, instead of next, we're going to say done. And then back in our deck collection, we can just go back to our battle deck and grab off of this show battle deck widget. And we're going to bind an event to battle deck next clicked. And we can actually put this at the very end. Doesn't really matter where you put it. It would still run through it. And we're going to create a new event. And we're going to actually create a matching event, not a function. So let me go ahead and bring this out to the event graph and put it at the bottom here. And this would be tutorial underscore cleanup. So for tutorial cleanup, we want to make sure that every element that needs to be visible is visible. So we're going to go back to our intro. Everything that we have hidden, we have to now make sure that it is showing properly. Let's make sure this is visible. Render opacity, all of this to 1. We want to take our tutorial canvas and we want to set this set visibility to hidden. Okay. And we want to actually clear all our battle decks. So we want to call in clear batter deck function. So we could actually call in a custom event here, just like we're doing an incision into this existing function. So we're going to call it manual underscore clear underscore battle deck. So that'll be clear BD. Okay, pretty dumb question. Oh, no dumb questions. But are you working on the tutorial for just the main menu or for the actual gameplay? So this is actually the tutorial for the battle decks only. The actual game itself, I don't, I didn't create an actual tutorial for it. Here, let me show you if you have a minute. If I go to my main menu, UI, and if I just, instead of loadout decks, let's go into the loadouts. So this is the game that I'm building. Actually, the demo is live in the store right now in Steam. So this is what you would see. When you come into the game, it's going to give you a little quick detail, walk down, breakdown of what's in this demo. And, obviously a thank you note for, playing the game. And then it kind of like throws you in there. And then in your decks, you actually get access to inventory setup like this. The feedback that I got from when I posted in Reddit and my friends as well, this kind of didn't feel like deck building. So what you would do is you will go in here and you will pick up an active card, the compact SMG for example, and then each level, I guess every milestone level, it gets different types of perks that boost the level of this gun. So you can go ahead and equip it. And then also you have passive cards, which increases obviously your stats. There's a whole bunch of stats that you can play with. And then also exotic cards that you can actually use to do crazy things. Like for Spirit Bloom, for example, you gain 1 health point for every 150 kills. And then from here onwards, you can just go ahead and start the game. I have I have only 2 maps for the demo. I do have 6 developed, but I only have 2 for demo. I can show you. I can just go into Golden Forest. You have 3 different difficulties to pick from, and each difficulty has different type of rewards. You could get epic cards and all the way up to the exotic cards and such. And then when you start, everything is on auto fire, so you pretty much don't have to do anything. You just it's in the editor, so it's gonna lag a little bit. So don't mind me at all. But yeah, so as soon as you jump in, all of your weapons are on auto fire. You just step in there and you just survive for 15 minutes without pretty much dying. It's gonna lag a little bit because it's in the engine. It's not the actual final thing. So yeah, this is the game I put up in the store. But I'm trying to promote it as a deck building game because you do have different type of cards that you can put it together. But the main feedback that I received was there's no real deck building element to it. It's just you equip your cards and you just go in and there's no building or customizing or anything like that. I'm definitely not going to die because I'm on God mode because I can. So yeah, so that's the game. That's the game I'm building. It's just a survivor game. There's going to be elites. There's going to be bosses that's going to come in. You're going to have boss fights and stuff. Um, yeah, pretty much that. Oh, so there's a boss there. Yeah, so what happens is, so if I now go ahead, so my SMG leveled up. So if I go ahead and then if I quit the main menu, you'll see your hero gets XP, and then your cards actually get some XP, which increases damage and cooldown time for it. You earn some resources out of it as well. I know I didn't finish the whole game. If you go to my hero, and you can see the hero actually has a track where as you level up the hero, you unlock different cards. At level 5, you get an assault drone, and level 9, you get like bombing runs and stuff. The hero can go all the way up to level 25. Um, but for the purpose of the demo, I set it to only level 10. Wow, I spoke too much. Your thoughts? Thank you. Yeah, I built every single one of them. They're all different elements, backgrounds, and everything, um, and stuff. Yeah, so this is what I'm changing to, right? Like, um, the deck building element wasn't there in this original build, so I'm gonna make it into an actual deck building, into a survivor. There's still a lot more to go. It would be really hard for me to just explain without showing you anything. So I'm like in the process of like, getting it set up step by step. But I'm going to have more and more streams like this where I'm just going to keep building the game. And then, if people are interested, they could come and watch and then give me your feedback, right? I would absolutely love your feedback so I can improve the game and make it, more fun. That's the whole point of building the game, to make it fun. All right, so back to this manual clear deck. I'm just trying to quickly finish this tutorial thing so that I can show you. Let's see. Tutorial cleanup, and then now we can go into this battle deck, and this dispatch, we can make a tutorial cleanup, which is already set up. It's great. So technically, if I now go through this, and if I press next, it's going to show me the cards. And if I press next here, it's going to show me how the battle deck is going to work. It's going to give you the rules of the decks and then, what you can do with this and everything. That's basically what this tutorial is. So now when you press done, this is your deck. So every time you come into your deck building, this is what you got. You get to go ahead and pick your core cards. You get to have 6 of them. There's a little counter over here. As soon as you hit 6 out of 6, you got yourself, the counter will go green. And then when you click on it again, another core card, it will say that you got maximum reached. Then you got your augment cards. And then you got action cards, pretty straightforward stuff. And then your stat cards, which, increases your stats. And you have 17 out of 30. This is what I'm giving the player at this time for testing purposes. But each hero will come with 30 cards each. So as you unlock more and more heroes, you will get 30 additional cards for each hero that's like themed after them. And also bosses, elites, and in-game store, you get to actually buy these cards. And there's no monetization or anything like that. You just buy the cards by playing the game and earning the in-game currency. The clear deck button is actually working very well. So now I just need to build this save deck. So once you're done building your deck, you can just go ahead and, this doesn't work yet, but you would go ahead and press save, and then it will check against to make sure that you have 30 cards and 6 core cards, and 10 stat cards and stuff. And then it will allow you to save the game. And then now you can go and start a game with it. Okay, that's save button. Save deck border. I think I already set the visibility for this one. Not here. Event graph. Okay, yeah, save deck border is good. Now I just need that button. Oh, that's right. I need to just remove this, drop this in here, and wrap it with the button. Oh, can I please get a button? Thank you. Let's go ahead and copy this color so we can just add it to the save deck. Do you like what you're seeing so far? Just make this green. Thank you. Controller support is something that I need to build in the future. So the thing with Unreal Engine is just like I don't know if you know how to build a game with Unreal Engine. If you do, then you already know the pain point of like getting the controller working with focusing and stuff like that. There's a lot of issues with that without using their common UI plugin, which is just another addition that Unreal Engine released, and that makes the controller support much more easier to work with. So I haven't implemented the common UI because I do want to get the game out there for people to play with with their keyboard and mouse. Um, Once you start the round, you can use a Windows controller like an Xbox controller or any Windows compatible, not PlayStation, unless you use like DS4 or something. You can move the player around in the match with the controller, but you won't be able to like use the in-game shop or anything like that. But yeah, turrets and like other things are already in works. Actually, I could show you here. I actually built two full characters, and the feedbacks from online is it's always going to be not what you expect. So you want to like go back to the drawing board and try to fix things. But if I go to show loadouts and then here, this is what I got. It's actually very cool. I'm a little proud of myself actually to building this. Such cool ideas that came together. So if I were to go and give myself all the exotic cards, let's do that. So let's go ahead to Dex and then let's give all the exotic cards to myself. Then give out all the passive active cards. All right. And all the passive cards as well. Okay, so this is what I got. So SMG is just one of it. So if I now go press play, let's go from the bottom up. Oh, okay, it kind of got shuffled, but it doesn't matter. So you have this great sword. It's actually really cool. It's a sword that comes down from the sky and it kind of crashes down into the ground and it explodes. You have the Razorline Spear, which is basically shoots out this spear out into the crowd. And then you got yourself this soul-bound blade. This is like this is actually inspired from the gentleman from Marvel. I forgot his name right off the top of my head, but he has this whistle arrow that goes around and like kills enemies. I built this sword after it. I'll show you actually. I can equip it. I'll show you when we go into the game. I also have the plasma barrier. So this is basically it drops a barrier and any enemy that comes by it or passes it actually gets slowed. It's like a crowd control thing. B2 bomber, this bomber will actually fly above your head and dropping these carpet bombs. You have grenades that throw one grenade, radial damage, and then two, and then it explodes. And when you get it to like level 20, it gets a cluster upgrade. Where each grenade actually explodes into 5 additional grenades and it explodes, killing a lot of enemies. You got the health pack. This one was going to be like on use, like if you press like H or something on your keyboard, it will give you like 15 health. But eventually what it's going to do is it's going to throw these batteries out in the map every time you use it. So when you go pick up these batteries, it's going to actually reduce the cooldown because this actually has a 10-second cooldown. So if you pick up the batteries, it's actually not supposed to be 10, it's supposed to be like 3 minutes, but testing purposes. And these batteries were actually supposed to reduce your cooldown by like 10 seconds each. And then if you have full health and if you use the health pack, it's going to give you 50 shield points. And then when you get to level 20, it creates this little aura around you and anything that touches it will explode. I have a mini tank, which actually is a cute, cool tank that comes into the map and then it shoots out these shells. And then when you get it to level 20, it's going to get a minigun on top of it with 100 bullets and then 200 bullets at level 25. And it's going to just rip through enemies like crazy. Drones, it starts out as one drone, just an alpha drone. And then at level 15, you get a secondary drone. And then at level 20, you get status rounds. So one drone will shoot out fire bullets. The other drone will shoot out arc bullets. And then level 25, you get a third Charlie drone. And then this one will shoot out like a poison bullet or something. And then I have the bow and arrow, which is absolutely one of my favorite as well. I have the hammer, seismic wall. It just you just whip out this huge hammer that just bounces on the ground and then spins and then goes and hits enemies, and it just gets bigger and bigger as you level it up. Then you have the shield. This is again just more of a protection, keep you from taking more damage and then hurting enemies if they come close and touch you. And then last is the shield, Aegis of Luthra. So basically what this does is it actually spawns in this little shields around the map. And as you pick up more and more of these shields, you get Bulwark, which is basically defense. So you basically take like almost no damage if you continuously keep picking up these shield fragments. And it just gets better and better from there onward. So these are all that I have set up for the game. So if I equip this, and then let's say I equip this hammer as well. Let's equip something else. I don't know. Maybe this sword, great sword. Yeah, let's do this great sword. Let's put on some passive cards. Yeah, let's get these epic cards in there. And more exotic cards. I'm planning on 26 exotic cards in the game, or 20 or 26. I can't remember. As my ideas come, I will keep making it. Exotic cards gives you ability like dashing. So you every 250 kills, you get to dash once. In the game, you kill a lot of enemies, so that's actually pretty good. And then also Venom Pulse. For every 50 kills, there's a 20% chance you will release this Poison Burst and it will explode. So let's go ahead and do that. And let me actually do it in a standalone mode because it will be really laggy if I do it the other way around. Give it a quick second. Have you built a game, or have you planned on building any game soon? Still loading. Oh, there it is. Cool. All right, everything is there. Oh, Universe of Champions. That sounds interesting. What type of game is Universe of Champions? Do you have anything on your channel that I can go and watch? Scary little worm. So all these abilities are like, very low level. So they seem like very underpowered. But as you level them up, as you can see, they're leveling up very fast, actually. Oh, God. So much of text, actually. There we go. That would make it disappear. So, yeah. And I have my dash ability ready, so I can always dash out of the way. And you can see like Venom Pulse activating. This that green smoke. And you can see more and more. Basically, wave-based games with element inspired from the game predecessor. I have 2 videos, but I'm currently working on improving. Okay, I would go and watch your channel. I'm curious. What is this Universe of Champions? I've never heard of it before, but I would love to. So my SMG just unlocked ricochet bullets. So as you can see, it's shooting out those green ricochet bullets, which is basically bouncing from one to another. I also have the gold thing in my game. So if you pick up gold, so you can press tab to open up the store. And then you can use the gold that you collected to pick one of the 3 cards. In a traditional survivor, you pick up the gold, it fills up the bar, and then you get 3 options. But currently, I have it like this, where you can open the store whenever you want. But then the new deck building element, I need to change it. So it is going to go back to the traditional method of building the game. So yeah, this is what I built. You won't really see all of these abilities in the demo because I want to obviously people to buy the game. So if they play everything in the demo, there will be no incentive to buy the game. But yeah, if you would like, it's on Steam available now. You can actually play it. Let me know how it works on your device, your computer. I tested it all the way back to 1660 Super, which is a card that came out in 2019, and which I also presume like a lot of the people out there do have some strong cards out there. So and this should work very well because I optimized right from the beginning. Step 1 of building the game for me was just optimization. So since the beginning, I've just been like optimizing left, right, and center. So what do you think of the gameplay here? Ow, leave me alone. Leave me alone. No, not my own tank. Oh, wait, I'm on God mode. I won't die anyways. Sucker. Yes, there is sound effects. I actually have turned it off for the purpose of going in and out. Actually, here. Audio. Oh, there should be sound effects. Oh yeah, I'm streaming through OBS, so I don't think I have OBS set up to capture the audio. Let me see. I'm guessing desktop audio would do the trick. I'm not sure if that's a good idea. Okay. All right. Let me know if you can hear it. Okay. And let me know if I can turn it down. Actually, I would turn it down just in case. boss fight, or would you like to go download this game and play and then try and get to the boss fight? Which is absolutely almost impossible because I've made the difficulty so high. I need to camera shakes for the explosive. Yeah, that is a very good thing. Oh, thank you. Yes. There is camera shake, like for example when the great sword comes in, you notice a little bit of camera shake. But you're right. I should do some camera shake. Yeah, that's pretty. Did the machine gun activate on this? No, so the tank hasn't activated the machine gun yet. So as I was saying, like, you know, the difficulty scaling on this is something that I need to work on it. I just added like as many enemies on screen as possible. So right now I can have up to 2,000 enemies on the screen, which is absolutely insane amount of enemies to have on the screen. As you can see, 6 minutes in, I have like 11,000 kills done already. So it's a crazy amount of kills. So that I just need to work on the difficulty scaling. But for the most part, the demo has like 3 different weapons for you to like level up and try. I did do a couple patches in the demo so you can get the XP faster. Settings, audio. You know what? Put it down here. Okay, and let's put it to like 35%. Okay, does it? Is it better? Is it better? Let me know if this is better. It's my first stream, so I'm still adjusting everything. So I do appreciate you being very kind to me. So awesome, absolutely awesome of you. Much better? Okay, excellent. Okay, I'll keep these levels, or even like, you know, lower it a little bit more for the gameplay and keep my audio up. Alright, so 8 minutes and that's the first boss. So shaders are building in, so but it's gonna be like a bullet hell boss. He's gonna just shoot out a whole bunch of the bullets and try to fill up the arena as much as possible. Right now you don't see much of his bullets because a lot of these bullets I set it to destroy on hit by the abilities. In the final game I'm not going to. I'm just gonna let the bullets actually fire through. So, oh, just like that one. Kill him. Kill him. So I have planned 20 different bosses. There are 20 different unique boss fights as well for the game. But you would see 2 bosses per map. The mid boss, which is right now the 8-minute boss, is going to be like shared. This could be a random boss from like, you know, different maps and whatever. But then the final boss will always be unique to the map. And defeating the final boss on hard mode in a specific map will actually guarantee you an exotic specific to that boss. Exotic card. You can see the great sword now, when they explode, they actually spawn this little flame ring, which applies burn effect to the enemies. And then the hammers are now individual, like one is a fire hammer, the other one's a poison hammer. When they go down, and you will see them actually go up into the sky and come down crashing, making these little rings as well. No, not at this time. I am terrible at writing stories. I could never come up with a story. So at this time, I'm just gonna treat this like a, you know, a pickup 15-minute like, play for fun without having to think about anything and nothing too complicated. Well, I am making it complicated with the deck building. So just, put together a deck and then play for 15 minutes and then, have some fun and then come back again. So I'm not really focusing more on the story mode in this. There's no need for story for these type of games. This is just like a quick indie game where you just go in there to kill as many things as possible, massacre with a whole bunch of bullets on the screen, and then, and live happily ever after. Are you having a story mode in your game? Kill them all. Kill them all. Yeah, same here. Like, coming up with a story is not that easy. I tried, man. I tried coming up with a story for a game before I actually jumped into this and into the survivor genre, and I couldn't. Like, for the love of God, I couldn't. But if the survivor genre if this game does do well, I do have plans for like my next game or whatever, and I will probably hire somebody who's way smarter than I am, who could actually come up with a proper story and stuff. But you're right, the burnout, like, when you're a solo developer, you do all this by yourself. It's a lot of work. Like, it's a lot of elements and modules that you need to go through, and then just writing a story on top of it is just, to me, it feels very impossible. I know it's doable for other people who are more capable than I am, but it's absolutely burning. Wow, I killed 25,000 enemies. That is insane. 12 minutes in. Insane amount of enemies. $13, 2 more minutes. Yes, I do have plans for a future project. I've actually started the future project before this project. No, hold on. Let me get that right. I originally started this project first, 3 years ago, I believe. But because I was good with Unreal Engine. I was using Unreal Engine for 8 years at that point, or 7 years at that point. But I wasn't really good enough to have a lot of enemies on the screen. Survivor is one of my favorite genres, but I wasn't really good enough to have enough enemies on my screen. So I kind of dropped that project and I started another game. It's like a zombie survival. Zombie is like one of my other favorite genres, so I decided to go take on that route for zombie. And then I started studying more into building games in Unreal Engine using C++. I'm not really good at C++, but I started learning C++ through YouTube. And then I started doing different things with the survivor. Like I was working more with like, you know, how moving animations from CPU to GPU rather than putting it onto CPU, which was the biggest stress, which was hurting the FPS. So once I learned that, then I dropped that zombie project, and then I came back to this survivor project, and I was giving it a try until I got to where I am now with having like, you know, 2,000 enemies. I used to struggle with 20 enemies, but yeah, I do have plans to go back onto that zombie project and then pick that up. I don't know if you subscribe to my channel, but I do have a full, like, you know, almost like 70-part tutorial on building a zombie game, and then I was actually going to continue building that game. It doesn't look the best because it's just a tutorial, but oh, here's the final boss, Mr. Rampage. So yeah, as I was saying, yeah, that tutorial was supposed to, like, you know, mold into a full-on game, a full-on survivor, post-apocalyptic type of game. And I made, like, you know, a 70, I think 70-something part of tutorial, which is not done yet because I started building this game, so I didn't have the time to make the videos as well. So yeah, there are plans. Yes, I do have plans for future games. It's all based on if this game does well. Do you like this boss? This is Rampage, this is the boss for this map. He's quite a rushing guy, and he has this after death effect where he tries to still kill you after you were dead, after he's dead. But yeah, so there you go. That's the game. 17 minutes played, 31,000 kills, 239 million damage dealt. My DPS was 232,000 per second. So yeah, you could go really crazy with this. If you play the demo, you won't really get to this level immediately. Obviously, I'm using my god power to get everything done. But for the most part, like, it's yeah, it's a fun game. All my cards leveled up to level 25. And I got all of these cards, not a single higher rarity. Well, I guess I'm just rank 11, so I need to be higher rank to get bigger rarity of cards. And play more difficult mode. And I unlock basically the entire tree. That is fun. Yeah, I wanted people to have that, you know, power fantasy from this game. Like, you know, kill as many things as possible, damage as much damage, do as much damage as possible and stuff. Yeah, that was the entire idea. Alrighty. So this is what I'm going to do. I am going to. It's 3 o'clock in the morning where I am. I'm in Canada, so it's. I am gonna head over to bed now because I want to continue on building more and more into this. Feel free to check out my game. It's on Steam. You don't have to. You could always come by and watch the live stream if you have time as well. But I do really appreciate you coming over and staying with me all this while. It absolutely means a lot to me, and I really do appreciate it. And if you have any questions about your game or something, I'm gonna go check out your channel actually. I will actually subscribe to it so I don't forget. I am your subscriber number 16, I think. And I will go review your game. I will watch your videos, and then I will give you feedback the next time. If we meet again, I will give you feedback. Sounds good? Cool. Have a good night.